Paradox Rift is almost here, and today we are looking at fighting type cards coming in the new set. Welcome to Jank Play TCG. My name's Landon, and here we play Jank. And today I'm looking at fighting type cards that are coming in Paradox Rift, and of course we are using the wonderful website Justin Basil, link down in the description. Fantastic website. I highly recommend you check them out. Let's jump down to fighting. And first off, we have a new Onyx, which, is usually a mixed bag. And this one looks like it will evolve into Steelix, which will be a metal type. And that means we don't get the full picture until we see Steelix. So, Onyx, with 1 colorless energy, can do hard headbutt, 20 damage. Flip a coin if heads during your opponent's next turn. Prevent all damage from and effects of attacks to this Pokemon. That's pretty fantastic, actually. I really like that. It can fit into just about any deck, and it's 20 damage. That's not bad. With the flip a coin is where we really, really like the effect. The effect is put onto Onyx, so they need to get Onyx out of the active, but it is one of those things that can buy you a turn or two. And so I really love those types of attacks on basics. And then we've got 3 colorless energy, Land Crush, 80 damage. Just a flat 80, even with weakness doubled to, let's say 160, with a choice belt, you're looking at, 220? I don't think it's good enough to justify. While it could hit something like Arceus V for weakness with a choice belt to KO, I still don't think that's worth it. 3 energy is a lot to ask for this, and Arceus is usually evolved and up and going turn 2. So, yeah, the first attack is really what we like, and we'll have to wait for the Steelix to find out how good this Onyx really is, because if the Steelix is playable, then we gotta look at playable Onyxes, right? And that could be the difference. I know there was an Onyx in 151 that looks like a lot of fun, but I haven't figured out how to get it working yet. Next up, we've got Gligar. Gligar, 70 HP, so level ball is a thing. For 1 colorless energy, Toxic. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned, but you put 2 damage counters instead of 1 on that Pokemon between turns. So, poison, but it's slightly more. I do like that. I do think it's, poison doing 2 instead of 1, I think is an important step Pokemon's gonna have to take eventually, because the way that HPs have really exploded. Looking at, like, the old Big E, Big X Pokemon from X and Y, even their Mega Evolutions, all the way up to now, we've seen almost 100 HP jump, and Poison has stayed 10 damage between turns. So this having the, information saying put 2 damage counters instead of 1 on that Pokemon between turns, I think that's a big that's something that's going to have to happen eventually. Or it's just going to have to get printed on all these Pokemon to make them semi-viable. But that is 20 damage, and then return to your turn, that would be 40, and then return to their turn. That is 60, and that does KO a lot of evolving basics, so, that is something to think about. If you get first turn, or if you get second, if you're going second, you could quickly poison them. They can't do anything. They pass to you, and then you pass to them, and their Pokemon gets KO'd. Like, that is pretty awesome, in my opinion. We also got, how do I say this Pokemon's name again? Glysaur? I could have said it yesterday, I swear. I'm just tired right now. For 1 colorless energy, Pierce, 40 damage. For 3 colorless energy, Throbbing Needle. Is that the name they're sticking with? Flip a coin. If heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned. Put 2 damage counters on it instead of 1 between turns. I know the official text will say, like, during Pokemon Checkup and that kind of stuff. But yeah. 3 for 80 plus poison. I know we still have the Radiant Hisuian Sneasler. And I think that's going to be the caveat. If it works with Radiant Hisuian Sneasler, Ah, man. There we go. Okay. For a second there, Google was taking me in a whole nother direction. TCG player, that's fine. Let's see. This is the kind of action you want. Watching me look at something that's not on the screen. During Pokemon check up, put 2 more damage counters on your opponent's poison Pokemon. So, with Hisuian, Radiant Hisuian Sneasler out, for 3 energy, you're doing 80 damage plus 40 between turns. Now, while that doesn't seem great, I think there might be a way to play this well. I'm going to have to play around with it myself. I like it. I think it's interesting. I'm a little afraid of the 3 energy, but it's an evolution, so that does bring in reversal energy. So that could be fun. Yeah, Glycer definitely going to be an interesting Pokemon. Is it Glycer? Did I just naturally say it right there? Glycer? Glysaur? I thought there was like more emphasis on it gliding. Maybe that's just Gligar that I'm getting mixed up with. I'm getting mixed up between Gligar and Glysaur, I think. Next up, we have a Groudon. So, legendary Pokemon. We expect pretty good things from legendary Pokemon. Mostly because they're big basics. So, this Groudon has 130 HP, 1 single energy, overflowing power, attach a basic fighting. That's fighting, right? Looks like it. Energy from your hand to one of your Pokemon. That's not great. I've mentioned this in another video, but if you are attaching to a Pokemon to use an attack that lets you attach to another Pokemon, you're just doing 1 attachment, because most likely that Groudon's going to get knocked down. Sometimes it won't. Sometimes it will pay off. But most of the time, it's just not going to pay off, you know? And then for 3 energy, we have Magma Purge. For 60 times damage, you may discard up to 4 energy from your Pokemon. This attack does 60 for each card discard in this way. 240 is not bad. It says discard from your Pokemon, not this Pokemon, and not specifically your bench, so you can really tailor which cards you discard based off your situation. Now, the only issue I'm thinking is, what is our fighting accelerant, right? Okay, I know I don't play Gym Leader Challenge. I've been looking at the format for a while, though, and I know that they have the Colossal. It can accelerate a fighting and a fire. That's pretty sweet for this ability. Not only is it accelerating fire energy, which you aren't using, your fighting Pokemon that uses fighting energy, but it's accelerating that fire energy, and that fire can always count as a colorless, and that's just fantastic. And it's 2 energy, so you do that twice and you can Magma Purge already, and then you can discard up to 4, so you're not locked into discarding a certain number. And like, yeah, I really like the way this attack is worded. Will it be impactful? I highly doubt, but there's a possibility there, and I like that possibility. Groudon could be a lot of fun. Next up, we got Gible. For 1 fighting energy, does 20 damage. Alright, that's what we expect. Basic Pokemon, evolving basics, 1 energy, 20 damage, right? It's not a lot, but it's more than 10. More than the minimum. And then we have Gabite. For 1 fighting energy, does 50 damage. Discard an energy from this Pokemon. I don't like the discarding an energy from the Pokemon to just do 50 on a stage 1, and that's your only option for attack. Maybe if you had another single attack option or a 2 energy attack option that did 80, but you couldn't attack next turn, because who cares if you can't attack next turn if you're evolving? So I don't like its attack, but it evolves into the Garchomp that we've already looked at in the water video. Highly recommend you check that out to get my full thoughts on that. But yeah, not terrible. Not terrible. Minfu. 1 fighting energy, 10 damage. 2 colorless, 20. Nope, don't like it. I am sorry, Minfu. Minshao? 1 fighting, 3-step strike. 20 times damage. Flip 3 coins. This attack does 20 damage for each heads. Okay, that's alright. And then for 3 colorless, Whip Expert. If you attached a Pokemon tool card from your hand to this Pokemon during this turn, this attack does 70 more damage. That's interesting. The tough part is that how are you going to do that turn after turn? Is there enough tool removal? Now, there are the TMs. If you attach a TM, it discards at the end of turn, even if you don't use that attack. So, we are looking at 120 damage. You most likely powered up with a double turbo, so 100 damage, sadly. I think it's an interesting move. I'm not saying it's a good move. It really depends what tools we see in the future. If there's a tool that can add on damage and return to hand, I'm gonna love that with Minshew, right? Minshao. So yeah, this one hold off on. In my limited league, I am actually pretty excited for this. I think this could do well, but here, I don't think so. Next up, we got Hoopa EX, another Terra Pokemon, and usually a Darkness, but coming through as a fighting type Pokemon. For 2 Darkness Energy Crush, 50 times damage. This attack does 50 damage for each energy attached to all of your opponent's Pokemon. And honestly, with Arceus being out there, that could be a lot of damage. I mean, they accelerate 3 energy at a time, right? And if they're not accelerating energy, that means they're limiting the amount of energy they have on board, which is still good for you. So, Hoopa EX for 2 Darkness, countering Arceus? That's not bad. Throw that into any Dark deck. I guess, does Dark Patch work with it? That's the big question. Man, I hate doing this, but I'm going to do it again. Dark Patch. Okay, here we go. TCG card database. Let's do this. Give me the answer. No, Dark Patch does not work because it has to attach to a bench Pokemon. So that does hurt it. But I still like it. I still think it would be fun. And then 3 Darkness Energy Scoundrel Fist. 200 damage during your next turn. This Pokemon can't use Scoundrel Fist. Okay, that's fine. Double switch, gets around that. Or you just use Energy Crush, which is probably going to be pretty good anyways. So Hoopa EX is awesome. Minior, Ability Flying Meteor. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is on the bench, when you attach an energy card from your hand to this Pokemon, you may switch this Pokemon with your active Pokemon. So, colorless, Gravity Tackle, 20 times damage. This attack does 20 more damage for each colorless in each energy in your opponent's active Pokemon's retreat cost. So, a mini Spidops for a different weakness. You know what? If I can get Spidops a bit more streamlined, I could make room for this. It's a colorless attachment, and it's a surprise Pokemon. Literally, that's what its ability is meant to do. You play it down on the bench, attach an energy to it, you get to move into the active for free, and then swing. So, let's see. Arceus, I believe, has 2 retreat costs. With 3 Spidops out, that's up to 5. That would be 100 damage, doubled for weakness, to 200. I don't think it outpaces anything with weakness. I think that is its main issue. And just attacking normally, it's not going to do enough. So while I like this, I'm not sure if it's good enough. Sadly. Hey, look at that. We got Toxicity EX. Told you it was a fighting type. So, first attack. Usually it's printed as a lightning, being printed as a fighting. I don't think it's even gotten a darkness printing yet. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. So it's getting fighting before it's a dual type of poison. That's hilarious. So, 2 lightning energy. Knocking Hammer. 70 damage. Discard the top card of your opponent's deck. A little bit of mill. Yeah, that's fine. And then, 3 lightning energy. Gigapunk. 270 damage, discard 3 lightning energy from your Pokemon in play. It's neat that it doesn't have to be the active. That's a lot of fun. I think the energy cost is a little too high, right? If it was 2 energy and then discard 3 from your Pokemon in play. You know, if you can't discard 3, you can't use this attack. I think that would be a lot more fair. Requiring 3 on Toxicity, and then, like, the player needs to hope to be able to put 3 on the bench. Like, you're going to have to over-abuse Flaffy, and that's going to be difficult to keep consistent, and that kind of stuff. I like Toxicity. I don't think it beats standard Lightning decks. The benefit of it being fighting type, I don't think you're going to feel, right? Although that Knocking Hammer, 140 if you're hitting for weakness and discarding the top card of your opponent's deck could be huge. Could be. Let's go on to Knackley here. 1 Fighting Energy, Rock Throw, 10 damage. Who cares? 2 Fighting Energy, Stone Edge, 20 plus damage. Flip a coin if heads its attack does 20 more damage. I'm good with this. I think this is a good one. While it's not exactly what we want, I like the flip a coin. The big downside is the 2 energy, and thinking more on that, maybe it's not that good. Maybe I overreacted to just the, hey, you do base damage and flip heads more. That sounds great. Yeah. Let's check out this other Knackley. 1 Fighting Energy, Corner, 10 damage. During your opponent's next turn, the defending Pokemon can't retreat. That could buy you a turn or 2. I like that. I think that's an interesting one. I love the art. Love that. And then we got a Knackle Stack, which for 2 Fighting Energy, Rocky Tackle, 80 damage. This Pokemon does 30 to itself. Not that great. Garnackle here. Ability, Energy Rock Salt. Once during your turn, you may attach a basic Fighting Energy card from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon. If you do, heal 30 damage from that Pokemon. I like the heal. I'm sad that's only 1 energy. We were talking about Colossal above with Groudon. If this was 2 energy, awesome. But I also understand that if it was 2 energy and healing, it could be busted. Like, so good that it will see so much play, you know, sort of thing. Even though 30 is not that much damage to heal, I think it's enough, you know what I mean? So, I like it. I do like it. I think, let's see, 3 Fighting Energy, Land Crush, 140, I think that's a bit too expensive. If it was 2 energy, like the above Knackle Stack and the first Knackley that we looked at, 2 energy, that would be fine for 140 on a stage 2. It doesn't even KO itself. It has 160 HP, you know? So, yeah. Yeah, I like it. Will it see play? I'm not 100% sure. Next up, we got Cloth. Cloth for 2 colorless energy. Hysterical Scissors. Sorry, I'm looking at the art and reading Hysterical Scissors. And I'm just seeing Cloth looking at his claws like, he is so happy that he has claws. 30 damage plus. If this Pokemon is affected by a status condition, this attack does 160 more? What? Oh, that's just begging for a Jank deck. That sure is. Being able to do 190 if you have poison. Yes, that's the route I would go. Paralyze would stop you from attacking. Sleeping would stop you from attacking. Confusion would leave up to 50-50 chance. And Burn does more damage than poison. So, yeah, with Cloth, I would be looking for poison. Doing 190 is pretty awesome. Its other attack, Foil Press, 80 damage. Now it's burned. I see what it's trying to do. But burn, you would have 2 coin flips after doing Boiled Press to then attack with Hysterical Scissors. 2 coin flips that might end up in heads, right? That's not great odds. So, yeah. Yeah, using Boiled Press, you have a 25% chance, I think, that the Pokemon is still burned. Not loving it. Alright. Next up, we got Flamingo. Flamigo? I don't know. 1 Fighting Energy, 30 damage, fantastic! Yes, it is above the curve that we expect for basics. 2 energy, 1 fighting, 1 colorless. Combat Beak, 20 plus damage. This attack does 20 more damage for each of your opponent's benched Pokemon. Okay, that's not bad. We've seen what? Like the Raikou and Suicune and Entei, weren't those 20? Weren't they doing 20 for each bench? This is doing it for fighting Pokemon in a single prize. I gotta double check that just to make sure I'm not being crazy. Now those do have the ability, which does make them a little bit better. But Raikou V, take me where I want to go. No, not there. Dang it, that was a sponsored link. I hate sponsored links. I think they're such a pain. Yeah, so 20 plus 20 for each of both yours. This is just for each of your opponent's benched Pokemon. So there's the downside for sure, is it's only your opponent's bench. So if they've got 5 Pokemon, you're looking at 120 damage. And even if you're doing weakness, you're up to 240. It's okay. It's okay. Getting them to have a full bench might be difficult, but I love a challenge. Yeah. Alright, next up we got Slitherwing, Ancient Pokemon. 1 fighting energy, stomp off, discard the top card of your opponent's deck. Little bit of mill. 2 fighting energy, Burning Turbulence, 120 damage. This Pokemon also does 90 damage to itself. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now burned. What? I don't like that. Doing the 90 damage to yourself. Why? Why, oh why is that the thing? That is frustrating. Sadly, I do not like Slitherwing. Sorry, bud. Moving on. We got Sandy Shocks. Sandy Shocks, wow, that is going to mess me up. I don't know why. Has an ability, Magnetic Absorption. Once during your turn, if your opponent has 4 or fewer prize cards remaining, you may use this ability. Attach a basic fighting energy card from your hand to this Pokemon. From your discard. Attach a basic fighting energy from your discard pile to this Pokemon. Cool. That might be fun to partner with Groudon. Then it's basics and basics, and I don't know, that seems like the way to go. Groudon's discarding your energy, and Sandy Shocks is just getting it right back. The big issue is that then you're putting out 4 Sandy Shocks, and you need your opponent to have taken 2 prizes already. So they're just 2 KOs away from winning. And you're doing that just to put out Groudon. Like, yeah, that's my issue. But I like it. I think it's interesting. If it didn't have this, if your opponent has 4 or fewer prize cards remaining, like Moltres V, the dark type one that you just use the ability, it slaps it on. I think it did 30 damage to itself, but who cares? Slap on that energy. Yeah. And finally, the final fire Pokemon is Ting Lu. Did I say fire? I meant fighting. 1 fighting energy, Sandbringer. Attach up to 2 fighting energy cards from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon. It seems like all of these ancient Pokemon, these shrine Pokemon, whatever you want to call them, have something like that, which is pretty awesome. Giving energy acceleration to particular areas. I like that. Don't like partnering it with Groudon, because then you're using an attack to power up an attack, and it gets real messy. 3 fighting energy, Prideful Impact, 220 damage. If this Pokemon has 4 or more damage counters on it, this attack does nothing. Oof, it was so good for so long until I read that. Sorry, Ting Lu. Anyways, those are the fighting Pokemon. I feel like they were a little disappointing. Hoopa EX is the one that sticks out in my mind. Mouth got a bit dry there. Sorry. That is cold. Woo. It tastes weird. Okay. I'm okay. Thank you so much for watching. Go ahead and like this video and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on this amazing content I'm making where I drink water, almost choke, and call it disgusting. But also the other types of cards that we will be getting in Paradox Rift in the upcoming release, which is happening, I think I can say this now, this Friday, which is just insane. Looking forward to it. Can't wait. I haven't gotten an email about my pre-orders yet, A little bit worried. They were from Pokemon Center, so yeah, we'll see. Anyways, be sure to check out the Discord as well. We've got some fantastic deck builders in there. We're constantly talking Jank cards and having a lot of fun. Highly recommend you join. And of course, until next time, keep playing Jank.